This free program is paid for by the listeners of WBAI New York. If you're not already a member, think about joining us to help keep free speech alive.
Once in a while, aside from the Rockefellers and the Kissingers and the Rothschilds and Prince Bernards who get invited to Bilderberger meetings and who actually have been going for generations, in the case of Rockefeller, it's been almost 50 years now, you have individuals who may attend only once.
And you are listening to WBAI 99.5 FM in New York, streaming live on the web at www.wbai.org. And we are going to bring you another 8 or 9 minutes of this interview and then ask you to pledge. And by 8:30, we're going to be moving on to something else. So you have until 8:30 to send in a donation and get this wonderful book and this wonderful interview. 212-209-2950 is the number to call to support WBAI, to support the Thursday night lineup, to support us here, Bashir Chowie, Sally O'Brien, Saul McCain's, Kathy Davis, and of course, the Haiti Collective is now here in Ilambe's spot because Ilambe took sick, and our brother is recuperating and he's at home. But we really need your support. We need to know that our listeners are going to stay with us and help rebuild our radio station and not let the Pacifica National folks think that we here cannot do this on our own. Because, believe me, they are looking carefully. As, Bernard always says, pay very close attention. Well, they are paying very close attention to the figures that are coming out today, and we're asking you to show that you do support the progressive programming that we bring to you every Thursday, and we're asking you to do that before 8:30. 212-209-2950. That's interesting. I always thought it was Mena, Arkansas that vetted Bill Clinton.
Well, of course, Hillary Clinton also was invited to Bilderberger back in 2006 in Canada, and she came this year also in 2008 to Chantilly. Her and Barack Obama came separately. They were told to come. Obama was told that the presidency was his to lose or to win, and Hillary Clinton was basically told to stay out of his way, which is one of the things most of her supporters didn't understand, why she didn't put up more of a fight at the Democratic National Convention when so many people were saying she was actually there for taking the candidacy away, the nomination from Barack Obama. I said, absolutely out of the question. She was told explicitly at Bilderberg to stay out of the way. If she didn't adhere to what these people were saying, needless to say, the New York Times or the Washington Post would have somehow, quote-unquote, discovered or uncovered some transgression of hers. You know how easily that can be done when you control the mainstream press.
What is the ultimate motivation and then ultimate goal of the Bilderbergers? And in that question, I'm wondering if they are deluded in thinking that this is really for the good of the world and all of that kind of thing, like the Illuminati folks think.
Well, again, for the good of the world, it's for public consumption. It's for the great unwashed, for us. That's what David Rockefeller and Henry Kissinger call us, great unwashed. So they'll tell you in the mainstream press that everything, of course, is being done for our benefit. Needless to say, none of it is being done for our benefit. It's about power, and it's about very small clique of very powerful people controlling this power. And again, I'll give you one example. About 10 years ago, it might have been 11 or 12 now, I saw a phrase in one of the Bilderberger reports. See, we have our sources within the group, which is why everything that happens, we get out in the open immediately. My rate of correct predictions over the last 10 years has been almost 90%. In baseball terms, I'd be a pretty remarkable baseball player. About 10 years ago, I saw in one of the Bilderberg reports, they were talking about literally, the phrase was demand destruction. I didn't understand that phrase, and I probably wouldn't have even thought of it ever again, except about 3 years ago, I saw the same phrase in another Bilderberg report, and then as luck would have it, in a Council on Foreign Relations webpage, and then a trilateral paper. So I asked a friend of mine at the World Bank to explain to me what demand destruction meant. He said to me, how do you destroy the demand? I said, well, I don't know. How do you do that? He said, by destroying the world economy. And that's when I suddenly realized literally that what is being done to us right now, today, the whole economy tanking, not only in the United States, but the world over, is very much big part of the plan. You see, when you can destroy the middle class and you can take money out of people's hands, you save energy. That's the background to the whole game. If we're running out of energy, then what you do is you destroy the middle class, because everything we do and make and touch and travel and go, we need energy to make it. To eat, we need energy. And energy, the only energy out there that's irreplaceable is, of course, oil. So what you're witnessing right now is very, very much part of the plan. Demand destruction and the destruction of the world economy. And, of course, Barack Obamas of this world very much know this, because, again, they've been more than taught, okay, and coached by the people at the meetings what this is all about. The rest of it is just play acting.
So that whole thing about going to a green economy and green energy and creating jobs with green energy, in your opinion, is just a whole lot of...
You know, the funny thing about green energy, again, it goes back to the 1970s. Who was the man who ran the money for the Rockefeller and Jimmy Carter? Well, his name was Volcker. Now, we have Volcker again appearing in the Barack Obama camp. Volcker, back in the 1970s, said, the lifestyle of Americans sooner or later has to decrease. And we're seeing it right now. This is the man that we have, again, being the financial advisor to the man who is now the president-elect of the United States of America. And again, we have to be very, very careful understanding that the presidents don't run countries or policies. They are controlled from behind the scenes by far more powerful people into doing what they're supposed to be doing. Again, it's a script. They're play acting. You have a Volcker who said that in the 1970s, the lifestyle has to decrease. The key phrase is zero growth. That's what green economy means. Because when you have green economy, you don't have progress. And when you don't have progress, you have destruction of wealth. And this is exactly what not only the Bilderbergers, but the Venetian black nobility way back in the 13th and the 14th and the 15th century has been trying to do ever since the creation of nation states, the first nation state in France under Louis XI, bring us back, kicking and dragging us back to the feudalist age where you and I, the great unwashed, are working for the feudals of today, washing the land and tending to the sheep the way the people did 500 years ago. They don't need intelligent, thinking people. They need people who work the land. That's why we're called the great unwashed.
Does globalization constitute the consolidation of first Europe into one economic, political, and social entity, followed perhaps by the U.S., Canada, and Mexico and South America into another, perhaps later to be joined under one rule?
Well, again, it goes back to what I said to you before. It's the destruction of nation states. You see, before in Europe, I live in Spain, you see you had countries, constitutions, flags, currencies. These are the things that define a nation. Now you have one currency called the euro. You have one flag is European flag. You have one constitution, European constitution, which takes precedence over national constitutions in times of crisis. And again, we know how easily crisis can be orchestrated. Okay, so this is what you have in Europe. You have the same thing being created right now in North America through the North American Union. And, of course, the next step is the Asian Economic Union. These are, let's say, the penultimate step in merging the three economic areas into one area. It's a very long-range plan, and, again, the blueprint to this plan was put together by a French intellect, Jean Monnet, who was a key intellectual architect of the European Union, who recognized that economic integration must inevitably lead to political integration, since he said an integrated market requires common institutions producing common rules to govern it, and this is exactly what you have right now. Again, the plan is you destroy the nation state, you eliminate currency, you eliminate constitutions, you eliminate countries, you create one ruled by one organization which has obviously nothing to do with the interests of the United States or the people of the United States, nor the people of Canada, and needless to say, the Mexicans either.